Boom! Hello, welcome, Laser Sports Academy. We're here with another prediction stream. This time for the Swedish Nationals 2024. That's being held in December. Does it start December 11th or 12th, Mumin?
I think solos is 11th, right? And 12th is like the official start.
Right, and then 15th is the last day of like team comp and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. We're already having a little bit of technical difficulties, so you'll have to bear with us a little bit, but it's just all part of the stream experience. But joining me today for the Swedish predictions, we have a little panel. So we have Mumin and Odin. Also, who's supposed to be with us is Hekki from Finland, but his laptop decided to absolutely cark it like as soon as we were about to go live. So he'll be back with us in a moment. But until then, I'm here with Mumin and Odin. How's it going, fellas?
All good, all good. Very early in the morning, but I'm all right.
Now, for me, it's actually very early in the morning. It's like 1:30 a.m. here, so a struggle to stay awake throughout all this.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult trying to find a time that worked for everyone, and we've settled on a time that doesn't really work amazingly for anyone. But we have to make do, just because we've got obviously. We've got America, Sweden, Finland with Hekki when he's here, and then Australia for me. But that's just kind of a sign of, like, this Swedish Nationals. How many countries is it in total that are being represented at SweNats?
I think it's 8.
That's crazy. Is that the most representation that's ever been at a tournament? Surely.
Might be. I think it's one more than 2019. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's so cool. And who are the newcomers? Because was there 2 regions that are, at least that Latvian team I think played German Nats, but was there another region that's playing for the first time in his own tournament?
Austria. Yeah, Austria.
Oh, Austria. And which team is that again?
Yeah, which one was that?
Well, which team? Laser Power. So
Laser Power.
Okay.
Cool. And then the Latvian team was Laser Dogs, wasn't it?
Yes.
Cool. So that's kind of exciting, kind of cool. Hekki is still taking a moment. So in the meantime, we're doing these predictions a little bit differently. And this was actually Mumin's idea. So Mumin, you can take credit for it. Do you want to explain it, Mumin, or would you rather me explain it for you?
Well, you can explain just so we know that you know what we're doing.
I was trying to like, get out of not knowing any idea what's going on. Nah. Oh, Hekki is here. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I can hear you. That's
nice.
For
sure. Nice.
It looks so cooked on the stream.
Yeah, awesome. I can imagine, bro.
Yeah, we all have these big webcams, and you're just like, we got little Hekki. That's awesome. Fantastic. Oh my god.
That's a lot of white wall, bro.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic. Well, people in the chat, can you let us know how the audio levels are for everyone? Like, let me know if someone's really loud or someone's really quiet, and I can adjust it in the software I'm using. But yes, without further ado, I was going to get into kind of explaining how we're doing these predictions a little bit differently this time. So if I quickly stream my screen, boom. Fantastic. So we've got a spreadsheet with like 30 different bloody sheets on it, but bear with us. It all makes complete sense. So what's been done is before the stream, was it Jaehong or you, Mumin, that organized the individual player ranks?
Jaehong.
So Jaehong, Felix Jaehong from Sweden has organized like a panel of people from people that are going to be competing at Swedish Nationals. And they have gone and they have ranked individually each of the players on every single one of the teams. And then from that, they've compiled an average rank for each player and then an average rank for each team. Okay. So we can actually go to that here. We have our tier list. and this is based on the like a sinks list, effectively, of the individual player ranks, and then worked out the average rank for each team, and then we've put them on this this tier list here. So we have that. What we're going to be doing during this stream is mainly talking about the team function. So what we expect them to do strategy-wise, how we expect their communication to be, how they're going to adapt to the arena, all kinds of things like that. That's going to be the main talking point for our little panel today. Then we're going to take the individual skill rank tier list and then the team function one, and we're kind of going to mash them together, and we're going to end up with a final tier list with rather than teams just being in like the tier list, we will actually have like a predicted first place, second, third, fourth, so on and so forth, all the way to 18. Did I miss anything, Mumin?
No, you got everything.
Yes.
I'm impressed, actually. It's a quite complicated system.
It is a little bit, but like I'm here for it. I'm always here to try something new. So, yeah. Do you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to say before we kind of get into the thick of it? Really?
Let's go.
Maybe if you wanted to go over the criteria for the rankings, or if that doesn't matter at all.
Yes, that's probably an excellent idea. So Mumin has laid out this kind of like a guideline for how we're going to rank the teams based on team function. I suppose we can do a little reading session, and I will read it all out to you. So settle in.
Disclaimer that I wrote. I didn't really like. I just wrote that on the fly. So you might
Okay.
wanna,
So if there's any broken English, just like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
All right, no worries. Okay. So the criteria for F-rank teams is that they have very basic tactics that fall apart in the early stages by itself. They have no base counts, no comms. This is what we expect from an F-tier team. Okay. Crikey. You good?
Yeah, it was just my phone, bros.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Welcome back. The E tier are very basic tactics that work until the team starts having to rotate players out, or they start getting like things start happening in the game. They get a bit crazy. Okay. Still probably no base counts and not very much comms. Okay. D tier teams, very basic tactics that work for the whole game as long as they're not, really taking some heat. They keep track of a rough base count and they have some simple comps. C tier teams, they have a couple basic tactics that they can switch to between games, but generally not during the game. They can make simple counter calls, like if a team dumps, like, okay, we're going to do this to try and change the situation. They keep track of rough base counts as well, and they've got some simple comps. B tier teams, they have a handful of different tactics that can be switched through during the gameplay. They can make calls to change during the game and understand how to win without taking the other teams into account. And they have a pretty good read on the base count, and they have some pretty decent comps. A tier teams have a broad spectrum of tactics that can be changed mid-game if needed. They know what needs to be done to win, and also to take measures to ensure other teams, like the responses other teams are going to have, they can kind of deal with that as well. They pretty much have an exact base count, and they've got some good comms. And then the S tier teams, the creme of the crop, they have a broad spectrum of tactics as well. They know what needs to be done to win. They're aware of what each team needs to do to win and what they're likely to do. They can change their tactics mid-game based on this kind of information and ensure objectives are met whilst blocking other teams from being able to do what they need to do to win the game. They have perfect base counts, and they've got great comms. Any questions, guys?
No. All makes sense to me.
Fantastic. The only question I have for you is, what order do you want to talk about these teams in? Do we start with like from bottom right to top left of the individual rank teams?
Doesn't really matter, right? Like you got some sort of order in the tabs already. We can just walk down.
We can just do it in that order. That'd probably be easier.
I do feel like we should start from the bottom going up to the top now.
All right.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Odin there.
All right.
All right, we'll do that. It still is kind of in the order anyway, at least for like the way they are listed in the individual player ranks.
Awesome.
You got to get the hard part of the podcast out of the way first.
Sure thing, no worries. Okay, well, we'll be referring back to this team function tier list, and then like as we talk about the team and we kind of come to a decision on where they sit, we'll move their logo over to the tier list. But wrong thing. To get us started off, we're going to be talking about Laser Dogs. So this is the Latvian team, correct?
And it might actually be Laser Dog. I'm not sure if it's Laser Dogs or Laser Dog.
I think they write it singular, like Laser Dog.
Yeah, I think.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
One Laser Dog. One dog.
It might be Laser.
One singular Laser Dog.
Yeah.
We'll leave it as that, and then if anyone knows the answer to that, they can let us know in the chat, I suppose. Cool. But yes, on the team, Laser Dog / Dogs, we have Moisha, who's the captain, and who actually Butzer recently did an LSA podcast with. So if you want to get to know Moisha and learn a little bit more about the Latvians and the tactical laser tag that they actually come from, you can check that out as well. But we have Moisha. Also, I'm going to butcher the names. Probably, I'm going to do my best. But bear with me. It's part of the show. The stupid Australian dude tries to say European names. Moisha, Indrico, Tezix, Slip, and Viskids.
That's fine enough.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
That's okay. Apologies if I'm causing any offense. I don't mean to. The team had a individual player rank average of F. And then the community had them predicted in 16th for the team comp and 17th for team elimination. Who wants to get started talking about Laser Dogs / Laser Dogs?
I'll go. The thing with Laser Dog is like they don't have zone in their country. They only play zone when they visit tournaments, and this is their second tournament. But they are very high tier on their home system, which is like tactical laser tag, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
So I watched them in Germany. That's the only tournament they played on zone, from what I understand. And they are like super keen on learning stuff and very like willing to put time in to develop. So I think like in the lower tier, I think they can actually be higher than 16th. Yeah, because they are really like the whole team is trying to like build something together when they play like throughout the comp and evolve. So and they have good comms, like they have an understanding. They just don't have the technique for like the pack on pack.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyone want to add anything about that, or?
Yeah, I'll go. So this team was actually such fun people to be around. In Germany, most of the teams were in one singular hotel. They were in our hotel, and every night after we would come and sit in the lobby and order pizzas and talk and everything. But they love to talk, and they love to drink too. It's probably why they like to talk. They were just having a really good time. But they asked me so many questions, and they were just wanting to learn so much. And I think, like you said, that it's going to, if they kept that mindset going into this tournament, and if they were able to somehow practice between now and then, I think that they could easily be at the top of the low tier teams for sure. All of those players are like really fast. Maybe that's their system. I don't know, but I was watching them play in the arena, and I'm just like, these guys are moving. They're going, and they could use that to their advantage. They were talking a lot. They just didn't know a lot of how to play our system. I had to explain trigger delay, like trigger lockout, and also like stun immunity. Like they asked me like a lot of different zone specific questions that I had to answer, but I love their motivation. I love their drive. I think they could do better.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely a wild card, I think.
And Hekki, did you have anything in general you just wanted to add about them before we kind of delve more into the thick of it?
Well, not much since was not in Germany, so I have not seen them play. Actually, I really don't have any intel on them.
Yeah, sure. So,
Yeah.
Odin, so you were at that German Nationals that the Latvian guys were at. What do you remember in terms of like how they were kind of playing the arena? Obviously, like super interesting, probably because like they come from a completely different system. But what do you remember, like strategy-wise, seeing them doing?
I do remember when we were in the games with them that if I saw one of them, I saw a lot of them. They were playing together as a whole a lot. They weren't really playing your traditional have defenders and have people attack. Like they were all just going as a unit to a base. And if they decided to defend and then they got overwhelmed, they would just all go somewhere else and attack somewhere. And that was what I was seeing a lot from them.
Sure. So a lot of like very heavy defenses and dumps, effectively.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mumin, were you at this German Nationals or did you miss this one?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. What do you kind of remember seeing?
Yeah, but it's very typical like for newer teams. Like it's either very heavy defense or a very heavy force, like with a dump style force play. So there's not a lot of like farming going on or like positional play or any floaters or anything like that. It's the very basic, you know.
We're doing this or we're doing that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But I would say like they tried like to develop it a little bit, like compared to some other teams that you see. Like they tried to sort of understand how to evolve from that, but they didn't have enough time to actually get there. But I think in Swedish Nationals, it's one day longer, more games, and they have like some sort of basic understanding going into it. So I think they're gonna do much better. Yeah.
So when they were doing these 5-player defenses or like dumps effectively, were they actually having much success with them, or were people still getting through their defense and they were like struggling to get any kind of a run when they're like committing to an attack? Do you remember?
Yeah, they weren't really able to get much going. At least I remember in their offense. But Germany at that tournament, those bases were so incredibly difficult to get into.
Sure.
They were very easy to defend, so it didn't help them at all. I just remember them being stuck at doors for like multiple minutes just trying to get in, and they weren't going elsewhere. That's something I just remember. Not much about their defense though.
Yeah, and I think I guess the next thing I want to ask is obviously we're going to have a quick look at the Boras arena. Is this the most up-to-date one? Would that be an accurate thing?
Yeah.
Yep. How historically has the meta kind of played out in Boras? Like if the Latvian team, if Laserdog were to continue with their like very committed defending or very committed attacking, like dumps and 5-man defenses, how would you kind of guess they would fare in this arena specifically?
Probably a bit better because the bases are easier to crack in Sweden in that sense, but it's also easier to get denied. So there's going to be a lot of deny shots. If any team tries to do that, unless it's like a very high tier team that can sort of set up a dump properly. If you just dump and don't really go into more depth than that, then you will get a lot of denies on it.
Sure, it's going to cause you some trouble.
What about one thing I did forget to mention is like if they were ever to get into a base in Germany, they were probably able to rotate 1 or 2 bases before getting knocked out. That is definitely not going to be the case in Sweden if they do get into the base.
Sure. Any other insights about Laserdog or how we expect them to play or perform in like Boras specifically?
There's more walls, not as much space, like open space. Like Nuremberg is known for like having a lot of open space in their arena, so I think that will suit them better because playing walls is like that works for any system. So if you can play walls in any system, then you can sort of transition that to zone. So I think this arena will suit them a lot better.
Actually, one question I did have, just out of curiosity, from them coming from a completely different system, how were these players like holding the phaser, and how are they like working panels and stuff? Like, are they, because they come from tactical laser tag, which from what I saw is like just normal, like they're designed to look like actual firearms. So I imagine they would operate them like you would an actual firearm. Yeah. What was kind of what were we seeing in German nuts?
They transitioned into proper zone holes.
Yeah,
They
they actually asked me that at the hotel, how I hold my phaser.
Yeah, they got help from Big Boss and Odin and a few more how to hold, especially the high hold, which is pretty easy to learn.
Yeah.
So
no, that's
so
really
now
cool.
so they sort of know. They're not doing it like technically perfect, but they know how it should be.
They know what it looks like. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, Hekki just let me know he's just quickly swapping over to a different webcam again, so we'll bear with him for a sec. If that's the case, Laser Dog, is there anything else we want to say, or do we want to head over to the tier list and kind of chuck them on there somewhere?
Yeah, let's put them in the tier.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. So team function, Laser Dog. Whereabouts would you guys place Laser Dog on this tier
I would
list?
put them in E.
I think I would do that too. Like specifically for team function, I feel like they do work pretty well together. They stick to their strategy. They're going as a group. Their communication is good. I feel like E is very is a good spot.
Yep.
Fantastic. Is where they'll be. And then I guess obviously there's nothing saying that we have to keep teams at certain ranks. So as we go and we're adding like more teams into the thing, and then we go like, ooh, like kind of weird having like that team in the same tier. We should probably like separate them out. We obviously have the freedom to do that as we go. But for now, first team on the tier list, Laser Dog sitting in E tier for team function. So happy days.
One more thing to add. I remember seeing on one of the sheets that in each tier, there's only a specific amount. Like S only has 1, E only has 1. I forget how that works.
No. It comes down to when we are doing the final ranking. If a team sits alone in their tier, they will have that rank. It won't be up for discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
The wording on that was a little bit.
Basically, if we have a single team sitting in S tier, when it's all over, they will be ranked first. It's not like we can't discuss that. They will be ranked first.
Otherwise, it is from left to right in each tier, correct?
Yeah.
Something like that. It's up to us to sort them within each tier.
Yeah, I would do left to right. Like left is the highest of that tier and right is the lowest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another point, actually, Mikey in the chat just brought up. How do we expect this team to do in Elim? So we've obviously talked about team comp, but how do we expect them to do in team elimination?
Better.
I'm trying to remember how they did in Germany.
Yeah, usually with new teams or teams that are transitioning in particular, Elim is a much slower format. It's easier to understand. There's no base unit, so you don't really have to set up any attacks. With evac zones and stuff, like it transitions. It's easier to understand function of sort of, and to play like it's like some FPS style play. Stick together, use the walls, keep the angles. And attack together. So I think Elim will be easier for both Laser Power and Laser Dog.
Fantastic. Anything else we want to say before we move on?
Nope.
I'm good.
Cool beans. Hekki's still having some troubles. That's all right. Amazing. Cool.
Oh, there he is.
I should be all right now.
He's right.
Yeah.
Talk again.
Yeah, hi.
Look, it's not fantastic, but it'll do.
Yeah, I can imagine.
To fill you guys in, Hekki had joined on his laptop, and then like literally as soon as we press like we're going live, like his laptop decided to like shit the bed. So yeah, here we are. but I'm glad you're here either way. I'd rather you hear
Thank
with
you.
an awful mic on your phone than not here at all. So here we are. In case you missed it, we've placed Laserdog, the Latvian team, in E.
Yeah,
Did you have anything you would like to add, or are you happy with the E? Obviously, like you didn't get to play them in German Nats, so.
I could make the argument for F, but I think E is fine as well. But as I said, I don't have much intel on them personally, so.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Alrighty, moving on to our next team. We have Suicide Squad. Where is this team from?
This is actually, so you got the top 3 players there, Kask, Kvarsebo, and Barilla. They're from Norrköping, which used to have a site that closed down like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
So they actually played Worlds 2009 in Finland.
Oh, wow.
And they quit somewhere around there, Nexus players. And the bottom 4 are like new Swedish players. I think Fluff is like 12 or 13 or something.
Oh, cracking.
And Glassman is 15. And Kamikaze is Fluff's dad. So it's like old players returning / family team, something like that.
Sure, interesting.
Yeah, so 4 of them are doing their first tournament ever, and 3 of them are doing their first tournament for 10 years, more or less.
That's
Thank you
that's
for
quite
the insight, because I didn't know any of these players. So very good insight. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it is a full Swedish team, correct?
Yes. So it's basically old System 2 players and local players that have never played.
Fantastic. Well, yes, as we can see over here, Suicide Squad was their average individual player rank score was F. And then in the community predictions, they predicted 17th for the main team comp and 16th for team elimination. Who wants to get us started talking about this team? I feel like if we've got brand new players and some old school players, I think Mumin, you're going to be having to lead the charge on this one for sure.
Oh, yeah. So from scrolling, let's see. I hope the table is vibrating. Let's see. So in terms of strategy wise, this will be a really hard one. Particularly young players have a hard time. Like Apadia is some sort of like unique thing, but otherwise, like young players usually have a hard time following tactics. Most of them, like we commonly don't really play 3 comps in our training. We play base run or Elim. So this will be like, I don't know, maybe the 5th or 6th time some of these guys play comp at all. So, and I know the Kvarsebo and Barilla, like they have played, but they played like in the mid 2000s where the meta was very much simplistic, like compared to what it is now. So I think they will struggle, and we'll see. Like Cass has leadership skills, so he might be able to pull the team together and just live off like some sort of pact skill and or simple strategies. But they will have a really rough time. I think, like for instance, if we compare to Laserdog, I think this team can beat Laserdog maybe in the opening stages of the tournament. I think they will struggle in the late stages.
Yeah, sure.
Something like that.
Cool beans. Any insights on how you reckon they would go in team elimination versus team comp?
Like the community, I would say like maybe in Elim 16th or 15th is possible. Like in comp, I think 17th or 18th is not like that's probably where they'll be, unless they surprise me. I mean, they do have some basic skills, but I think it will be hard for them to play against like these, even like Laser Dogs, which are like physically fit, quite fast, like agile players. It will be hard.
Cool. Hekki and Odin, do you have anything to add? Obviously, it's, as we kind of discussed, it's going to be a little hard to talk about this team, but if you do have anything, speak now, I suppose.
I guess I can go. I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
So This, I feel like now after hearing what Mumin had to say, I'm not sure whether I'd put Laserdog or Suicide Squad above. Having the experience, plus the new players. How long have these new players actually been like coming out to training nights and stuff?
Half a year. I think it's a bit
Okay.
different. It's not like a group of friends. Like it's
Yeah.
like Isaac has been playing for longer. But he's one of those like guys. He's not super competitive. Like he's having fun, you know.
Yeah,
He's a good
yeah.
guy.
I think that experience, that previous, what am I looking at? Recent experience. Sorry, that's late here. The recent experience in like competitive training will probably help them a lot more, especially having those older guys, even if their tactics might not be up to date. I feel like them at least having some simple tactics that could work versus Laserdog just trying to figure it out as they go. I do agree that they'll have a stronger start, but I feel like they could also adapt, especially with all the newer players. So, in my opinion, I don't know. I might put them above Laserdog, and at least in comp. Maybe not
think-
Elim, but comp.
I think it falls on comms. Like Laser Dogs has good comms.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
This team will probably have a hard time with comms as it is.
Ooh, one other thing. They have 7 players. I'm looking at right now, right?
Yes, they have 7 players.
See, that is going to also be a factor. Is if you can't have the same 5 people playing or the same 6 people playing, like it's going to be difficult to create that team synergy. So I feel like that is going to be a detriment to their team for sure.
Yep.
Hekki, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, Odin kind of covered everything, but yeah, the matchup with these guys is them versus Laser Dogs and Blazing Bullets and those kind of teams. It's going to be super interesting to see it because, as Mumin said, they are experienced, but they haven't played much in recent years. So I guess it's going to be interesting to see how they fare against Laser Dogs and then the Austrian team, since they know zone, but they haven't played in a while. So
Yeah, sure.
I really don't know what to expect, but yeah.
Well, with that, we'll head over to the team function tier list. Suicide Squad, where are we feeling about putting these guys?
I'll put them in F.
Yeah, I was about to say that Mumin was sounding a lot of like F during his talk about them.
Yeah. I'd have to go based off Mumin, but my personal thing is if we put Laserdog in E, I feel like this team should also be in E. But Mumin has more experience, so I'll concede.
No, I would say it comes down to comms and trying to work together because pack on pack, Suicide Squad is better. But I think when it comes down to working as a team, Laser Dogs are much stronger. Or they are stronger, not much stronger, but they are stronger because they are willing to learn in a whole different way.
Okay, yeah. Team function, yeah, that makes sense for the team function ranks. Maybe I'd change my vote for the final ranks, but for team function, I agree with you completely.
I think individual rank, both teams are in F rank as well.
Yep.
So, cool beans. All right. We'll move on then. And we're on to Laser Power, the Austrian team, correct?
Yeah.
And do they have Zone? Are they coming from Zone, or are they playing on another system as well?
They play a system called Tron that I know very little about.
Isn't Zizo a French player?
Yeah, he's a French player.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're the only one that's known.
He played with Americans. He played in Renegade and Acid's team first time he came here.
Oh, okay. I know Cooper was here too. I think of that tournament, right?
Yeah, they were in the same team, I think.
Well, on the team we have Hissy, Lindy, Laser Pro, Pessy, Badass, and was it Zizu? Is that how you say it?
Something like that.
Cool. Individual player rank for the team is F. Community predictions had them in 18th for both the team comp and for elimination, which obviously this is the debut of this Austrian team at a zone tournament at SweNats. So I suppose it's definitely understandable because it's completely unknown, But does anyone have any kind of insight about Laser Power? Obviously, this one's going to be quite difficult to talk about, but we'll do our best.
They have played Armageddon, so I reached out to an Armageddon player, Havoc, just to see, if he had some insights. And he said like they are like Laser Dog, they are physically fit, they are very fast players, they are very keen to learn. So I mean, it's basically Laser Dog, but they have like a very big disadvantage is that 4 of them are native German speakers and 2 are native French speakers.
Interesting.
Which is rough. I don't know how their English skills are. Like, I think the language barrier is what separates them from Laser Dogs, and also the fact that this is their first tournament and Laser Dog is playing their second tournament.
Yeah.
And one thing personally for me that I've learned as an American coming to these European events is that if you can only speak English, or if your team is deciding to speak English, that is actually a decent disadvantage for your team.
Yeah.
Everyone understands English, and I feel like German, at least maybe not at this event because there's 2 German teams, 3 actually, maybe 4.
4.
4 German teams. So, but like if they were all speaking French, no one would understand, and they would be able to say whatever they want, and it would be no one would know, right? But if they're speaking English, everyone's going to know what their tactics are if they can hear it, So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah.
But I think this comes down to if either Mumin or Hekki know Zizou and how good of a player they are, and if and how they do, because I don't remember anything about this player from 2022 SweNats, I think. So yeah.
I think he's pretty experienced, right? He has traveled a lot in like the last 6 years or so in Europe, so he knows at least how the games kind of like flow. And he has been in Buros before, so that might be something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if we talk team function,
That's true.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't put anything other than F on this.
Yeah.
Hopefully I
they're
can
just
speak more
there's a
on it.
wild card. Have to be for now. Maybe they'll surprise us.
Yeah, hopefully we got more to say in the review after than now.
Oh yes.
Yeah, if we said anything more, we would just be making it up. So
Yes.
No, that's cool. All right. Well, yep. Laser Power joining Suicide Squad in the F tier for team function. Let us move on. Next, we have Blazing Bullets, who, by the way, your logo is fantastic. That's very professional, nice looking logo. So whoever did that, whoever organized that, kudos, congrats. On the team, we have Umbra, Firebird, Mindy, Pastilli, and Mrs. Turtle. Where is this team from? Finland. So they have an individual player rank on the team of F. Community has pitted them at 15th and for team comp and team elimination. Hekki, do you want to get us started with Blazing Bullets?
Yeah, for sure. I think the community rankings are pretty crazy to me. Seeing them play every tournament here and elsewhere. It might be rude to say, but they're kind of a stock last place in every tournament they play.
Mm-hmm.
For an example, in Germany, they played, was it Laserdog, the team from, Laserdog was the team from Latvia. They came to their first tournament and they beat them, for an example, in their very first try.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the community rankings are the way it's going to go for them, but it is cool to see them travel. It is very cool to see them travel, and they are very willing to try out 3 different things and learn more. So
yeah, cool. Mumin, you got something? Yep.
They are the parents of a Perrier, but not all of them.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Umbra.
Almost
I know
all
the
of
rest
them.
of them, but not Umbra.
Umbra, he goes under a different alias in Finland. You have played with him before. He just changed it up for this tournament.
No, it's because we have the legacy systems. We can only have 8
Yeah.
in the name. It's various.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What kind of strategy and stuff do we expect this team to kind of whip out? And how do we think that translates to the Boras arena?
They are very much like Laser Dogs, or what Mumin said about them, that they do everything with all 5 of them. if they decide to defend, it's gonna be all 5 of them sitting at the home base. If they are gonna do an attack, it's gonna be all 5 of them doing it. So they are gonna keep it simple, and that's how they should keep it. I think it's gonna be super interesting to see how it translates it with the Muros bases, since it's their first time playing bases of that kind that are pretty simple but also super tough against certain opponents.
Cool.
So they have like the basic team chemistry, like it's all right. It's not F tier, but like the execution of it may not be very high, you know.
Sure. Any other insights from you guys?
I think something to keep, like their comms are all right, but yeah, like in difference from a lot of the other teams, I think this is the oldest team, right, in terms of age, has to be.
Yeah.
They're like, some of them are in their 50s, right?
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
I
Good
think
honor.
so.
Yeah, it's basically it's like 5 Master Guardian, something like that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That's a good team right there. That's a crazy team. Okay, and how do we expect them to do in team elimination? Do they fare better in that, Hekki, or do they still have a struggle quite a bit in that?
I think elimination is gonna be harder on them, just because they are lacking in back skills so much that almost any team can just sweep them if they want to.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Any other insights, guys, or should we head over to the tier list?
I think one thing for Hekki is this team is predicted 15th, I think, because some of the teams below them have like no one knows. So maybe
Yeah,
that puts them
exactly.
higher because we do know
Yeah.
this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say like I did a lot of reffing of their games in Finland this year, and they do have some pretty decent communication. But I think in Boros, it's the arena is so fast paced that it's like I feel like they're just gonna get swept, just overwhelmed, too high pressure, and it's not good. Everything is gonna fall apart for them. I feel like, in this particular arena.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd put them
F
in
for
F
me.
tier for me.
Yeah.
F. All right. We
Yeah.
won't sort them in the tiers yet. I'm just gonna like chuck them in. We'll be doing the sorting later to get like the final final rankings for everything. Cool. Yeah, best of luck to Blazing Bullets. Moving on, we have taggers. So we have Skip, Mia Maria, Gotte, Bouncer, Lucifer, Alida, and Spawn. Is this a Swedish team or a Finnish team?
It's a home side team, and they actually have and they lost Spawn and Gotte. They're no longer in that team.
Oh, okay. Who have they got now?
I think it's those 5.
Oh, just the other 5. Okay, sure. It's 7. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, they might add like a guy called Black Panther, but I'm not sure.
I might just
Now are
black
Gote
them
and
out,
Spawn
man.
just not playing at all in this tournament now, or
No.
do they go to a different team?
No, they're not playing at all.
Okay.
And that's like that changes things a lot because Gotte is a very good player.
Yeah, and he's the captain.
Ooh.
Oh, he would be the captain of this team.
Yeah.
So it's a big loss.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's interesting. Well, with the players we have left, I think they would still have individual player rank of E. Obviously, community predictions had them in 14th for Team Comp at Lim, but that probably would have changed given like they've lost 2 pretty significant players there. But all that being said, what do we have to say about taggers in terms of their team function and strategy, comms, and how that's going to translate to Boris?
I think that they're gonna have a hard time with the tactics. But they are also like these are more experienced than let's say Suicide Squad. But this is like Suicide Squad after playing a couple of tournaments, something like that. I think Eliter she's 16 or something, 17 by now. She started playing when she was young. She's been around. And Bouncer is her big brother. He has also been around for quite some time. And Maria is their mother, so it's like a family team.
Okay, cool. There's a lot of those.
Yes, in Europe that happens. So it seems to be like a lot. I love
so
that.
cool.
Well, they do have an understanding of simple tactics, and they do have comms, I would say. Like they do talk a bit. So, I mean, it's not. I think they can pull off some simple maybe 3-2 tactics maybe on that level. I'm not sure if they can play with floating players, but they can actually extend their team across the arena a little bit, like maintaining defense and attack at the same time. But making calls mid-game, that's like no.
Sure.
So,
you say this is a home site team?
yes.
Okay, cool. Hekki and Odin, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to once again mention that losing Gotte is like super crucial for this team, because I would put them like a tier or two above than where I'm gonna put them now if he was still attending the event, because he's such a significant player, especially in a team of this kind. It is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Odin, you got anything to add?
I feel bad because I know I've played tournaments with these players, but I honestly cannot remember any of them. I feel bad about to say that, but
You're such a
I don't
horrible,
think anything I could add.
human.
I don't think I could add anything that would be useful.
No, that's cool. We have a question from Mikey again in the chat. Do they train any team games in Boras, and will there be any much of any home site advantage for them?
There's no home side advantage in Borås because everyone has played that arena so
many times. Yeah, sure.
There might be against the Electric Fire because they only have one player that have played the arena, but for everyone else, it's probably one of the most played arenas for comp.
Yeah,
and for good reason. I love it there. Still my favorite European arena.
It is a good arena.
Cool. And how do we envision them doing in team elimination as well now, especially with the roster changes?
Much better. Like not better because of the roster changes, but Elim is typically what we play during practice, especially in Borås. They love playing Elim, so I think every Sunday they play Elim.
Yeah, crikey.
More or less. So yeah. So I think Elim though will be probably higher than 14th.
Yeah.
And I feel like specifically for Elim, I feel like this being your home site, Elim is like a much bigger advantage than comp for a home site arena.
The sidelines and stuff.
Yeah, because you know all the sightlines, you know the good starting spots, you know where teams are going to want to start, and it's like it's harder to really try to get that strategy without actually stepping foot into the arena and doing it yourself, you know. So I feel like Elim would probably do better for them than comp.
Cool. Anything else we want to add, or should we head over to the team list? Tier list.
Tier list, yeah. I'm unsure where to actually put
It
them.
is at best E probably, right?
Yeah, it's E or a very weak D.
I wouldn't go for D personally.
You would go for D, Hekki?
No, I was said that I wouldn't go for D personally.
Okay, sure.
It's E maximum. Yeah.
I would agree with E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, good luck to Taggers. Unfortunate you lost some players there, but go get them anyway. You got this. Cool. Moving on. We have hyper mode. So we have Marlin, Mark, Lenny, Collie, and Rikiki. Is that right? Rikiki? Is that right?
I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Individual player rank for the team is D, and they were predicted 12th in both team comp and elimination by the community. Where is hyper mode from?
Nuremberg. It's
German,
That's a German team.
The second team in Nuremberg after the Destroyer, and then it's hyper mode.
Cool. Who wants to get us started talking about hyper mode, strategy, team function, comms, all of that kind of stuff?
This one is hard.
Yeah, it is pretty tough.
Yes, because They play in Nuremberg, which is like the most non-Borås arena you can find. Like they are very, very different in how they play those two arenas. And I think they have like a decent like setup when they play. Like they do play with attack and defense and some sort of float. Like they have something going on. They have very good comms. Most German teams have like really crisp comms. But not sure with the base count or countermeasures or anything like that. I wouldn't say that, but they still have some sort of structure to their game. But I haven't played them that many times. They commonly only play German nats.
No, we're all 5 of these players playing together at German nats, because I feel like I don't remember Koli or Rikiki. I feel like I don't remember their names.
They were playing, but I think they switched like aliases for tournaments, so it might get confusing sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't remember those names. I remember like Mark and Lenny, but I don't remember any of the other players.
They will probably get a lot of support from Team Destroyer. In terms of how to play and you know, advice and stuff. So it'll be interesting. They're certainly like a tier above the teams we just talked about.
Sure.
But they still need to transition to a Swedish arena, which is very different from the German ones, especially Nuremberg.
Anything else about general team comp? No? Cool. How do we envision them playing, going in team elimination as well?
Not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think elimination is gonna be harder for them because they are also pretty weak back players, and that is a big thing in elimination.
Sure.
Like to put it bluntly, right?
Yeah. And this is also one of the few teams that has never played in Borås before.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right. Is there anything else about hyper mode, or shall we move to the tier list again?
Real quick question for Mumin. I feel like there was a hyper mode at SweNats. Was it completely different players, or am I wrong?
There has not been a hyper mode at SweNats.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay. Must be thinking of the German nats then, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
It was 6 cents and Destroyer were the only 2 German teams that come out normally.
Yeah, that's commonly
Yeah.
the German teams that travel. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, if we head on over to the tier list, where feels like a good spot for hyper mode, do we think? Are they like headed like definitely clear of the teams below them, or do they have a home in the E tier as well?
No, like their tactics don't fall apart, like in that sense. Like it's not like they run around. It's like, where is everyone? You don't really get that, like, that you can get in with the lower like teams below this.
Yep. Is everyone happy with D then? Or...
Yeah, D sounds perfect for them. Yeah.
That is where I put them on my personal list. So.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, yeah, good luck to hyper mode. And go get them, Tigers. Moving on. Sunday Kebab, which is just an awesome team name. That's great. On the team, we have Big Boss as the captain, Noob. For any Zoltek people in the chat, Noob was also in the Majestic 5 team that came to Hobart in 2023, so it's cool to see him chilling us again. Then we have Lemadab, Mike, Avo, and Stitchy. Stitchy was at US Nats, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Individual player rank for the team is D. Community predictions had them in 9th for both team comp and elimination. Who wants to get started talking about Sunday Kebab?
Okay. I'll go.
You're going first every time.
Okay. Fantastic.
I figured like these are Hekki's people, so I figured he would say something. But
Yeah, I can talk about them first if you want.
yeah, go, man.
Yeah, so for me, they're the kind of a team that at best they can do pretty solid, right? Like they're all close friends and they know each other well and have played a lot. But then at their worst, they can perform as bad as like the lowest of lowest teams here. It is a bit of a mixed bag.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what I was going to say as well, because I've played with this team twice now, and at SweNats we did okay, but in Finland we kind of fell apart and we placed way lower than any of us wanted to, for sure. So it is a mixed bag here. It could go either way, but at least there's more familiarity in this arena. And based on previous experiences, I don't remember where we placed. I think it was like 9th, maybe 9th or 10th. I don't remember, but I feel like that's going to be something similar. Is like if they don't fall apart, they could do well. If they do fall apart, it could be like nearing the bottom, you know?
Yeah.
In terms of team function, like strategy wise, what you would expect this team to do, have you guys got any insights to that? Like, are they going to be like the teams we've had before where they're doing everything together? Are they going to be more standard with like 3-2s? Are they going to be, you know, floating with their defenders to get field points and stuff? What are we kind of expecting?
I think it's going to be super like standard in a way that it's going to be 3-2 defenders and then 2 people attacking and one floater in the middle. I don't think they're going to change much from that throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with that. That's generally how it went, was we were trying to find some strategy that worked and try to get better at it throughout the tournament, because there wasn't much time to try different things with the players that we had. I will say Big Boss as the captain, he comes up with strategies and they're good. And then when things don't go well, he tries to compensate and do everything. Yeah. And then I can't find him. I can't find him at halfway through the game. And I'm like, what are we doing now? I don't know. So I feel like him and Noob are kind of going to collaborate on what they want to do with this team. And it's up to them to keep everybody together. And if that can't happen, then they're going to fall apart fast.
Yeah, but I think what they have that the previous teams hasn't had is like they can throw like a counter tactic mid game.
I agree with this.
Yeah, actually do change a bit after, like in the middle of the game, because Noob is actually that smart and they can sort of react a little bit more to what's happening.
But I would actually, like, my thinking is that they cannot do that with this roster. If you look at who's in their roster in this tournament, I don't think they have the man force to do that, you know. Like Noob knows and Big Boss also knows what they should do at certain points, but they probably do not trust the entire team to actually like perform that said operation.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
They can come up with a strategy, but can they execute that counter?
Yeah.
I see.
True. All right. Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, I'll fold. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like after playing with Noob in Finland, after each day, he's like, we're talking and he like lost his voice. He is screaming the whole time. He's communicating his heart out. And it's like, it's going to be up to him to kind of coordinate with the offense and the defense. I feel like he might be one of that floater player for them.
He's going to be the floater for sure. That's what I was thinking as well.
So a lot of the responsibility and success of this team is going to come down to how he's able to help his team out in that role, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do the brick wall bit. Noob. They usually do. Right?
Yeah.
And we call brick wall is the same thing for you guys, which is one person at a base, just kind of there to get field points and like use up the like occupy the defenders.
Yeah, I think that's the formation as well. I would imagine that Big Boss wants to be on the offense, probably with Mike when he's playing, and then it's going to be Evo and Skitchy defending at least. Lemedap is probably also going to be in the offense, I would imagine. And Noob is going to be the brick wall floater, basically.
Yeah. They also might try something where they're just trying to hold down their base, and Big Boss. It's gonna work less in this arena, I feel like, but every time I play with Big Boss, he just like go somewhere, and I'm like, I hear red base hit, and he comes back. He's like, "Hey, I got red." I'm like, "Huh? By yourself? Okay." He just randomly comes out and just randomly gets bases a lot, and it's just like, they might just have strategies like around that too. Just like let him do his thing. We'll hold down our hold down the fort, you know.
Yeah.
And how do we envision them doing in team elimination as well?
It's hard. I will say that they're gonna do worse than in team comp, because as Odin was alluding there, Big Boss kinda has this superhero complex in the arena, and it can be rough in team elimination for him. Like, he loses a lot of lives because he thinks he has to go get points somewhere, and suddenly he's like, oh, he has 1 life left, and then it's their best player out, and the rest of them are fucked. So
yep. That has happened.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we wanted to say about Sunday Kebab?
All good.
I will say real fast, not relating to laser tag, but these are some of the nicest people I've met over in Europe.
Yeah.
Like Avo let me graciously stay at his house for the last SweNats and drove me from Stockholm all the way to Borås. Like, wonderful people. I wish them nothing but the best.
Fantastic.
Just wanted to get that out there.
Some very hospitable people over in Europe, eh? Team function. Sometimes. Team Kebab. Where are we thinking? Where do they belong?
So I think it's D. It's like a higher D, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. For
Mumin?
me,
Odin, yeah.
Sure.
Me? Okay. I think like we said at the beginning, is like, if this team is on point, they're very good. And if things aren't going well, they fall apart. But I'd say, yeah, they could be a very high D, but they could also be an E for me.
I agree.
I'd put them in D though.
Yeah. I had them in E in my own list originally as well, but then I kind of got them to D as we were speaking.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Well, D tier is where Sunday Kebab will exist for now in the team function ranks. Let us move on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 teams left. Next, we have Trash Banders, our American team. So we have Renegade as a captain, Gimpy Ace, Bob, Limbo, and Jonas from Germany. Individual player rank for the team is D, and they predicted 11th in the team comp and 10th in team elimination. Odin, how about you get us started off with the Trash Pandas?
I will. And the very first thing about this is Ace is no longer going, and they have a replacement.
Who is it?
Yeah. It is Snip My Nips. His name's Cody. He's a Fort Wayne player.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Snip my nips.
That's an awesome
Ace.
That was my. You didn't remove Ace.
Oh, whoops.
I don't even remember. Oh, Bob's still going.
Well, what would you give Snip My Nips if you were to give him a quick grade?
Probably D. Yeah.
D. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe
that makes
even,
it nice.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll say D. I'd say D.
Cool. Yeah. Odin, what else have you got to say about Trash Pandas in terms of how you expect them to play strategy wise and how it will translate to Boras?
Okay, so this is also, I think Renegade's gone every year as well, so this is his third year as well with me. So he has a good understanding of the arena and the tactics that people are doing. So him being able to lead them, and Gimpy there too. They have two people or three people. Yeah, Jonas is in that team too. So they have experience in the arena. And all of these players are Fort Wayne players minus Gimpy, but he travels everywhere, so he's always in Fort Wayne. So we've all played with him a lot. So all together as a team, I feel like they're going to perform pretty well. I think for them, their main struggle is just going to be the adaptation and how and getting used to the European style, because the American style of laser tag is just nothing near the European style, and it's very different. So hopefully that experience in Boros' arena will help them, but having them all at the home site, all playing together for years, is going to help with their team function for sure, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll go with that for now.
Yep. Mumin and Hekki, you got things to add?
Yeah, I'm trying to envision like how they will play.
Yeah.
They have a like really defense heavy team.
Yes.
It will probably be maybe Gimpy and Jonas attacking, or Snip. I'm not sure, but like Bob and Renegade typically play defense, and Limbo as well. So, and that's
Limbo is kind of forced into that defensive role, but I think he would be more of either a floater or an attacker if he were given that opportunity. Snip has at least he participated in the quads tournament that we just hosted at the Helios Pro site, and he was like their base defender. Like he was that guy that would always be in the base. So I feel like he's kind of taken on that role more recently as just a last line. Which Renegade and Bob and him are going to be probably their three back players, and then Gimpy and Limbo, and I don't know where Jonas would play in that team, but he'd probably fill in whatever spaces were left. But Gimpy and Limbo would probably be on attack.
Yeah.
Bob's a good attacker too if they have to let him out of the base, and he's really used to the American style of being inside the base, and that just doesn't work here. So I feel like he might honestly be better for them as an attacker in this comp.
Maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
And typically they play like two disconnected parts. Like they have an attack and they have a defense. They don't really float, and they are also not like the fastest players. Like they can do like pack on pack. They're fast in like duels and standoffs and stuff. But when it comes to moving, like for like defense to float out and get pack score and then fall back, or like there's not really much of that. Like so I think like the whole slowness of the team will be detrimental to them.
I agree. You have players like Gimpy, who is really fast, but he's one of the only players that'll do that. Limbo can get to that like that, but he's more of like a person who's going to stay in whatever role he's designated at and try to perform that role, and not really venture out and try to adapt mid game, I guess.
Yeah.
So I feel like I agree with that. It's going to be the pace at which you need to play the Boros arena is going to be a detriment to their team for sure.
Hekki, have you got anything you wanted to add, mate?
Not really. I'm not sure what to expect. Like, I'm not that familiar with most of these guys. I know Jonas and Renegade, but the rest of them I really don't know that well. Like other than from watching streams and whatnot. So I don't know, but I do know that both Jonas and especially Renegade have kind of struggled to find their spots in the arena in recent years. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it like plays out. I don't know.
No, cool. Well, if we head over to our team function, and how do we think they'll do in team elimination? Do you think? I would envision worse.
I personally would envision
Americans typically don't play Elim.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try so hard. I'm like, let's play Elim in our members nights, and then everyone's like, no, let's do anything else. Literally anything else. I personally like Elim a lot. And we need to get better at it, especially if we're going to travel to like, I think Europe, Elim's like a staple. Every tournament it has Elim in it. And so it's like sometimes in the United States we drop Elim for like a base run or something because of what people want to play, and it's just like, so we just don't practice it. I feel like Elim would probably be worse for them.
Cool. Well, where do we think this team belongs on our tier list for team function?
right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right,
Maybe
right.
above. No,
Maybe
not
above
above.
hyper mode, but I'd say they're.
I would say that they're probably gonna be like faster and better to like make mid-game adjustments compared to hyper mode. So that might give them the edge over them.
I
But
will
who
say
knows?
this team has a lot of experience.
Yeah,
they've
exactly. That's what I
traveled
was
to like
thinking.
every tournament in existence. Bob's been playing for such a long time. Renegade's been playing for a long time. They know what to do. It's just if they can adapt. Their first few days will be rough, and then coming into the last couple of days, I feel like they would be doing pretty well. So, I think that's pretty fair for them.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck to Trash Pandas. Moving on, we're at Eparia. So we have Franklin as the captain, Jesse, Aka, Rinsessa, Death, and IMJB. Individual player rank D. Community Predictions has them in 10th for the team comp and 11th for team elimination. They have my favorite team logo in existence. It is so like it just evokes such like an emotional reaction in me.
Yeah, it is brilliant. It is brilliant.
It's great. It's awesome. Who's getting us started on Eparia? Hekki, is this you?
Yeah, I can go for it. So one thing to point out is that I am JB actually plays for Sixth Sense, so he's not a Paria player. But the rest of them are coming, and it's those 5 playing. And I think it's going to be interesting because they have played most of the tournaments in the past 2 years with at least 6 players, sometimes 7. It's going to be interesting to see like how it plays out when they don't have those like resting turns for players. It's going to be all of them each game, you know.
So yeah, IMJB is not coming.
Yeah, it's Sixth Sense. He's playing in Sixth Sense.
Yeah, he's
okay, sure.
He's been put on the wrong team.
Okay, sure. My bad. Cool.
Yeah, Eparia has been getting like very good experience over the last year. They went to Sweden last year, Germany this year, and they're the kind of youngsters who like learn from every tournament they go to at this point and adapt to the next one, like forming their team, like ironing up their team play, going from like tournament to tournament, and they know the arena as well. So I think they're gonna do pretty solid here.
Yeah, I agree. Ever since the first tournament I saw them, I think it was 2022 SweNats. They impressed me immediately from that first tournament. The practice nights before the tournaments that they go to, I'd always try to be like talk to Franklin or Jesse and be like, hey, I want to play with you guys because I just love how they play, and I love the dedication and motivation they all have. So actually when our first team for America fell apart when Skywalker and Phoenix decided they weren't going to go, I asked a couple of teams. I asked Hekki like, hey, do you know anyone that's looking? And I was like, I would love to play with Eparia if they would let me. So they're a team I highly respect, and in a few years, like they could easily be at the top tier teams if they just all stay together and keep playing. So a lot of potential for this team.
Oh yeah.
Mumin, you got something to add?
Yeah, I'll say like they do play like now. They always get a lot of help from the Finnish community. Getting hints and stuff. But they also have position play. They have, I think Mina Rinsessa is really good in attack. Like she can dominate space actually, even though she's really young. And Franklin also really smart player. So they can sort of build something. They have some issues reacting to changes in the game. Now they can react and they can change things up, but they have some issues making the right call. I think they sometimes get tricked by the other teams. But they have like good comms. They know the base count. They sort of understand how to run the basics and how to run different tactics.
Mm-hmm.
This is a step up in comparison to what we've seen, like the other teams we've seen.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And that was one
Yeah,
thing
I agree.
I remember is if their strategies holds, like they're a very solid team and their defense is hard to break and they end up with so much pack points. They're very good pack point players. But yeah, once something happens when they have to change their strategy, it all falls apart for them a lot. And that was something I noticed in Germany as well as last SweNats is when that happened, is when they would start losing ground a lot. So if they can get their countermeasures, their reaction to other teams, if they can improve on that, they would be very good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, their communication's really good. They play positions, they cover each other well. If someone gets past someone, they'll scream and they'll all come home, make sure they clear it and then push back out. Their strategies for Boros are pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool. And how do we see them doing in team elimination as well?
I'm not sure actually.
Well,
I'm not
historically,
sure.
they have done better in elimination than in comp, so that might be something. But it's a roll of the dice, I would say. I would expect them to rank like around the same area in both events.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree.
Okay. Shall we head over to the tier list then? All right. Where feels like a good place for Eparia?
I
is a
put them
C.
in C.
I'll
Yeah.
put them
Yeah,
in
it
C.
is a C. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like a unanimous, easy ranking there. Cool beans. All right. Moving on. Sixth Sense. I see what I've done. Right. Cool. Okay. So Sixth Sense, German team. We have Trefnix, XP Walker, Crisley, Alice, X-Force, and IMJB for real this time. The average individual rank for the team is C, and they are predicted in 8th for both team comp and elimination by the community. Who wants to get us started talking about Sixth Sense?
All right.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
I would say Sixth Sense has been around for like a very long time since the community started playing it on Zone in Germany. It's been them and Destroyer that's been around, like, and they have like they usually, it's one of those teams like they are like better as a unit than individually. Like the, you know, that the sum is more. The whole is more than the sum of all parts. That's what you say. So,
Sure, yeah.
so they sort of have a good game going. They have like their roles. Like we know already that Alice is going to be in the defense together with X-Force, I think. X-Force is Indian guy, right? Who has the weird way of holding walls.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and we know Trefnix is going to float. Like there's a lot of things we already know, but they've done it for so long, so they have a structure to it. And they have good comms. They got like at least some base count going on, so they can do some countermeasures. They can change tactics mid game. They are, however, a little bit slow on doing it. So they, a lot of times, like they knew what they should have done, but they did it a bit late. So I think they can outsmart like a lot of the teams we've seen so far on the list. Maybe not the top tier, of course, but I would say this is a decent team. Like,
yep. And Hekki and Odin, have you guys got things you'd like to add?
Well, I would like to say that I kind of really disagree with Mumin there. I think Sixth Sense is a textbook team in that regard, that they have this one tactic they do, they have their roles set, and they do it like clean and very smooth, right? But I have never seen them like adjust mid-game or do anything that I would call smart, you know, like reacting to game, that wise. I think they just do basic gameplay and see where it takes them. But I don't think they make any adjustments whatsoever. Or I have not seen that, at least.
Yeah, for me personally, what I'm thinking of is last year in Boros when we played against them, and it was like I more so agree with Hekki of like they have their strategy, and then if something happens, they're just a little bit too slow to react and it became really chaotic for them, of like not knowing how to properly react to the opponents there. I felt like that was definitely one of their bigger downfalls. Is like when I'm pretty sure they beat my team once or twice, and when their strategy held, it was like really difficult for us to deal with them. And then when something happened that messed it up, it was just like they would get third place in that game. And it's like, so yeah, I don't remember exactly the what happened, but that's what came to my mind. So I probably agree more with Hekki here.
All right.
Someone said in the chat that for our information, XP Walker is their in-game leader, and he hasn't played in SweNats last 2 years. So just a little bit of insight there. Okay, and how do we see team elimination going for this team as well, or is it another one that's a bit hard to say?
I would say around where 8th is actually not a bad prediction.
Yeah.
Cool. And is there anything else you guys wanted to add about Sixth Sense and their team function, their comms, the strategy, and how it translates to Boros?
They have played Boros so many times now.
Yeah.
And they are, yeah. I think that like Sixth Sense is a solid team. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, thinking like we have a few instances where their base count was not really correct as well. You know, when they are trailing by 10k and still not, you know, forcing to get those bases. So, all right, okay, I'll fold.
For me personally, in this tier list for the team function, I actually put them at the top of D.
Yeah, I was
but they
about
could
to
be
say that
low
they're a
C
high D.
as well.
Top of D?
I think it's a high D. High D, yeah.
Alrighty, let's shuffle these guys down.
Mumin sounded like he disagreed with us.
No,
But I think versus Aparia, I definitely think they're below Aparia.
Yeah. Yeah. Aparia is getting like a lot more, you know, coaching and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Every tournament, I see the legacy guys over there with them.
Yeah.
With a map and someone with their finger on the map. Like,
yeah. Classic. That's a classic. Alrighty. Cool beans. Best of luck to Sixth Sense. You got something, Mumin? Water refill. No worries. Go do that, sir. I should fill mine as well, but I won't because I'm a champion.
If I do that, I'll have to leave, go to the bathroom.
No, you're cool. Cool. Next team is Empire. Not Empire. I've forgotten to put Empire's logo on there. Yeah. This is Empire. I forgot to make that.
Yeah.
Empire. I think that's right. Yeah. There we go. Silly me. All right. Empire. We have Adama, Johnson, Urzu, P3, and Smork. Individual player rank for the team is C, and community has them in 13th for both team elimination and team comp. Where is Empire from?
Right.
That's not right.
They are from like 3 different cities in Finland.
Yeah, I feel like this team should be predicted higher than like.
Let me double check.
So it is interesting.
Very low for them.
Yeah, it is pretty low, but for me, like knowing these players all super well, I could see them being like second last or maybe 9th, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's like a big space that they could
I think yeah, maybe my opinion is because of SweNats, they played very well with SweNats recently. So but that's in Finland, you know. Who knows what's gonna happen in Boros.
And I would even say that SweNats was the home arena of Adama and Erzu there.
Oh.
And I think they underperformed really big time there, their entire team, in my opinion. So I think they're gonna have a pretty tough time, like adjusting into the Boros arena and getting their like comms and actual team gameplay on point. But they are all pretty strong, like back players individually. so that takes them a bit higher than some of the lower teams.
So I'm just doing some fishing around trying to find where I got the thing from, just to make sure it's right, because I was like just copy and pasting stuff, so it is possible I missed something. Bear with me. Crikey. Well, welcome back, Andreas.
Thank you.
Well, while I'm trying to find that, who wants to start off telling us about Empire and kind of what strategies we would envision them playing for SweNats?
So strat-wise, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, that I think they're gonna have a hard time adjusting into the actual team play and the arena in Burros. And I think they are gonna wanna keep it simple. But I think what they're gonna lack is like offensive power in this team. Mm-hmm. Like they should have a solid defense, but I could see their offense like really folding in a way that the communication is not going well and they are not having any success whatsoever. And then the communication doesn't travel back to defense or like the middle player floater if they even have one.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else got some insights as well? Also, the predictions was right. So yeah, community had them in 13th for comp and Elim.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe my personal experience with this team, most recently in Finland, made my expectations for them go a lot higher. I actually put them above 6 cents in my personal predictions because of how they performed at SweNats. But a lot of those, them working as a team was very, very well. They worked very well in that arena. But I concede to Hekki, I guess.
Mumin, you got something to add as well?
I haven't played, I didn't play Finnish Nats this year. So I don't know. I got not much to add on this team. I know them as players, but not as a team.
Yeah, well, that's the key here. Like they're all like experienced players, but as a team, they are completely like randomized, a mixer team. Like they are not a functioning five on paper at least. And I kind of knowing all of them very well, like personally, as a player and as human beings, I kind of see it being super hard on them to actually find like a flow as a team in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Anything else about team comp specifically, or any notes on how we think they'll fare in team elimination?
I think elimination is gonna go better for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think they will be above 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, I still think, even hearing that, I still think they'll be above 13th. Just individually as players, I feel like they'll be able to adapt fast enough to outplace that prediction.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that, where do we place them on our team function tier list? So comms, strategy, and how it'll translate in Boros.
I would say it's the highest E so far.
Highest E? I would probably put them above Trash Pandas. Between Trash Pandas and Blade.
I would put them above Trash Pandas as well, personally.
Okay, so we have two for in between Sunday Kebab and Trash Pandas. Are you happy to concede that, Hekki, or do you want to fight for your high E?
That is fine. That is fine for me. I don't mind that.
All right. No worries.
And we'll come back and reorder this again, or no?
Yeah.
We'll do it at the final tier list.
Yeah. Fantastic. Cool. Moving on, we have Omega 9. So Super, Smiley, Slanish, Revi, and Maverick. Individual player rank of B. Predicted 6th in both team comp and elimination. And this is a Swedish team, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Mumin, do you want to get us started talking about Omega 9? What we can expect from these guys?
So Omega 9 has the best what's it called? I don't know the English name for it, but they practice on Boros Arena every week together. And they know, like, they have the comms down, they have like a few strats. Supera and Slanish works at that site, and Smiley, Revi, and Maverick goes up there every week to play, more or less.
Sure.
So they have like all they need to perform really well. They have good comms. I mean, Supera, they have played like Euros and stuff and Worlds, and Revi, Maverick being like new. They have been around for a very long time, sort of. I know they don't really have. They are not sure who's gonna last line, but I suppose it will be Super. Smiley is an excellent float, and he's probably one of the best players in Borås. That's like custom made for him. He is. I think that they have some good like tactics. They have players for every position. Then it comes down to making calls in game, like not like the initial tactics, but the mid game calls, where it sometimes could, that could be trouble.
Yeah.
Even if they have comms and base counts, like they I think where it gets hard for them is the mid-game calls.
Cool. Hekki and Odin, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, Mumin kind of covered my thoughts as well. They are experienced players and very good on pack players, but I agree that I think the mid-game adjustments are going to be the hardest thing for them. I'm not sure, Mumin, do you know who is going to be the actual like in-game leader for them for this tournament?
No.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like looking at the team on paper, there's no like clear captain for them. I'm sure they will figure something out, but that's kind of what I was thinking. That it might get tough for them, but they do know the arena well, and they are smart and have played a long time, so they know the basic stuff like inside out.
Yeah.
Now, quickly, question for Mumin here. In previous years, it was like Fadekin with you guys, and it was kind of a combined team, like Super and Slanish were you with you and Jaehong and Bambi, right? So like you guys split up a little bit this time.
Yeah.
Can you explain why that happened this time around?
Yeah, we need to train our newer players, because we've seen Piraya having a really harsh time, and at some point, like, we're 40 years old,
Yeah. I hope to never be there one day. Stay young forever. So we have the 3 experienced players here with Super, Smiley, and Slanish. And then I know Maverick was new-ish when I started. When I came here in 2022, he was playing. He drove us around a little bit in Gothenburg. So I'm sure he's improved a lot since then, but there's still I don't know much about Revi, but I know at least with Maverick, he's one of the newer players on the team. So I assume it's going to be how they can fit in with the rest of the experienced players, and if they can perform their role in that team.
Yeah.
Cool. And team elimination. I have a feeling surely they would do quite well, given this is very much like another like home site team, right?
Yeah, I would say this team could actually win Team Elim.
Oh wow!
Out of the Swedish teams, this is the team that can win Elim. Because it's their home arena. They play it every week, twice, like 2 days a week. They play Elim in that arena. So
that is true.
Yeah,
so,
cop that community predictions.
Yeah, and also like teams like. Usually teams play Elim because they enjoy playing Elims. It's not like they invest a lot in like the way they invest in comp. So Elim is a little bit more simplistic to play, and that suits this team very well. So I think this team, dark horse for winning Elim.
Cool. Well, we'll head over to our team function. Where feels like a good place for Omega 9 for team function?
I would put them in A or B.
I'd put them in B.
I was thinking high C, but B is fine as well.
Do you want to fight for that, Hekki, or you're happy to concede for now? and we can talk
I'm
more
fine.
about it later.
I can concede for it because it's pretty tight between B and C for me.
All right, cool. No worries. All right, well, B is where they are for now. Boom. Let's move on. Here we go. Majestic 5. Here we go. Represent. Of course. Majestic 5, another Swedish team. We have Mumin, Bambi, Jaehong with Batalo and Buckshot. Individual player rank of B. Predicted 4th in both team comp and team elimination for the whole thing. Mumin, do you want to start off talking about your own team, or would you rather other people talk shit first, and then you can kind of argue with
It's always so hard to talk about your own team. But it feels good. Like I feel good going into this tournament with this team. We have more defined positions. So Buckshot is an excellent last line, and Paulina is still learning. Patalau, she's still learning, but she's showing good signs of development. Playing she usually is stuck as a last line as well, but she will be more on the arena this time around. Got high hopes there. She's more mobile than I am.
I just remember last year, she was leading her team in SweNats last year, and I just remember hearing her scream, everyone go. And I would see 5 of them running into a base. And I'm just they were just bouncing back and forth between bases, and she was leading them and trying a bunch of different strats. And I think that was probably a very good development for her as a player, is leading that team last year.
Yeah. And when it comes to comms, I think it's a very we have not as solid comms as Mega Friends and Destroyer, but still we have good comms. Our base count is really good. Felix is excellent at keeping tabs on things that happen in there, and we can make tactics changes mid-game. Not saying we're the best at it, but we have the possibility to do so if needed.
Cool. Hekki and Odin, what would you like to add about Majestic 5?
So I think the interesting thing is going to be how Buckshot and Patalau can kind of keep up with the higher tier games this time around, because it is worth noting that they have placed 3 times in the very last. They have ranked very last in Sweden the past 3 years or something, right? With Piraya.
Yeah.
And that is not good any way you look at it, right? And this time they are thrown into the more so of the other side of the pool, playing with the actual top teams in Europe. It's gonna be interesting to see how they keep up, in my opinion. I know the other 3 will, but it's gonna be interesting to see.
That was my biggest thing, is what you just touched on, was how are Buckshot and Paulina going to fit in with your team, and will teams be able to take advantage of them at all against you guys, or not? I think that's going to be what will determine how well you guys do.
Yeah, I think that we will be a much stronger team at the end of the tournament than at the start of the tournament.
Yeah.
I'm worried our toughest job is to get into the high pool at the start. Then I'm pretty sure come Cascade 2, then I think we can probably challenge a lot of the top teams, but need to stay in that position in order to play against the top teams.
Yeah.
I think we could break into grand final. It's going to be hard, and we're not going to be on paper the team to do it, but I think we can.
Yeah.
Cool. And how do you think you'll fare in team elimination compared to team comp? About the same, or?
I think we can win Elim easier because Mega Friends are not as strong on Elim. Legacy is not as strong on Elim. They're still very good, really good teams. And I would say Destroyer also are not as strong on Elim. So Elim is more like a Swedish thing, especially in that type of arena. Had it been a Finnish arena, we would have been in trouble, but Swedish arena suits us better. So I think we could win Elim. We're on paper, same as Omega 9. We are not the likely winners, but we can win Elim.
Cool. Anything else about team function and how you think you'll fare strategy wise in the Bordos arena?
We played that arenas for 20 years.
You don't know how to play it at this point. Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, you should be fine.
One would think.
Yeah. So I think we got like we're trying to I think that the thing that will be the most interesting is to try and have some more advanced tactics than the 2-1-2 or 3 double brick wall or a single brick wall or to try and evolve it a little bit and try to be more flexible. Problem we have with our main team, our usual lineup is that we can only play a few different tactics. With this team, I hope to be more versatile.
Sure.
We'll see.
Wax was just asking in the chat if it's going to be streamed. I'm going to guess SweNats will be streamed. Probably.
Yeah, it will be streamed. Yes, and the link is in the schedule.
Cool. Along with everything else you need.
Yes. The grids are more sacred in Europe than in Australia.
Fantastic. Well, if we move over to our team function rank, where feels like a good spot for Majestic 5?
It is B above Omega 9.
Yeah, I think that's where I'd put them too.
Yeah.
Right. Does that sound fair, Mumin? Or do you want to fight?
Yes, because it's our first time, so I can see why you would say that. I would put us in A, but I'll opt out since it's my own team. But I think that we got like our base comes down, our read of the game, like we have played on a high level so many times. So on the other hand, like I know when we played with the Majestic 5, which was a weaker version, of course, in Australia, we did have some problems with some counter calls and stuff. So we'll see.
Fantastic. Cool. Anything else about Majestic 5, or shall we move on? Fantastic. Electric Fire. Here we go. This will be interesting. So, Electric Fire, German/Australian/American team. We have Phantom.
Everywhere in the world.
Frostin, Lucky Luke, Fredster, Holmes. That's me. Odin. That's you.
Me.
Individual player rank for the team, B, and community had us in 7th place for both the team comp and elimination. Odin, do you wanna start? Who wants to start?
Rock, paper, scissors. You don't look like you want to start right now.
Well, okay. I guess I'll say.
Okay.
I'll finally pipe up because I have something to say. Obviously, I've not really been able to comment on pretty much any of the other teams because this will be my first time going to a European tournament. However, US Nationals this year in Fort Wayne, we had the Electric Fire team with also with Lightning and who else is missing? Or did they only go with 5? I think it was only
in US Nats.
Yeah,
I
think they're only missing Lightning from that.
They're just missing Lightning.
Yeah, just Lightning.
Yeah, and I think they have a 6th player, but like I've never seen them before. But anyway, between Fandom, Forsten, Lucky Luke, and Fredster, with the addition of myself and Odin, I think we have have the potential to be like way higher than people expect, or like much lower than people expect as well. Just like inherently from the like people from different regions and like different ways of playing, and then trying to figure out like all kinds of things like where we want to play everyone. Because for instance, like myself and Odin typically play in more offensive roles on the team, but Frostin and Lucky Luke normally take that position in Electric Fire, or at least based on the US Nationals. I can't comment on previous tournaments. So there's a bunch of interesting stuff for us to figure out there. But this team at the US Nats, like pack on pack, all of these players like really impress me. I think they're they're a little bit inexperienced and young, I guess, in their careers. Like I'm pretty sure they've all been playing like nationals and stuff at least for around 3 years. Maybe been playing like leagues and stuff before that, but all super impressive, talented pack on pack players. I came up against all of them at some point during US, and they've all had their moment where they put me in the bin. So lots of good things to say about them there. Also, interestingly, in team elimination in the US, Electric Fire was one of the teams that did make it into that grand final. They ended up finishing fourth, so last out of the grand final teams, but they made it into the grand final, which was pretty cool. And then in the triples format, they had a team which was Phantom Frostin and Lucky Luke. And then there was Fredster Lightning, and they played with Acid, if I'm not mistaken, so a US player. And I think both teams made it into the grand final of the triples event in the US as well. I believe the girls did beat them out on that, as much as the boys would hate to admit it, but that did happen. So good on the girls. Yeah, the girls. But all I'm saying is them being able to make it that far into those side events really just again speaks to the pack on pack ability of this team, especially with the addition of myself and Odin. That is what I'm going to say for now, because I'm now rambling. Someone else speak.
I'll speak. So specifically, they debuted, for me at least, at the German Nats. And then at that tournament, day 1 and 2, I think they beat every single top tier team. I think they beat Mega Friends at Legacy. I think they beat everyone. I think they actually ended first after the first round of round robin, going into Cascades, if I remember correctly. They had a very strong start, and then as other teams started to adapt, that's when they kind of fell down a little bit. So their strategies, their bases were really hard to get into. They played a very strong defense, and then Frostin and Lucky Luke leading their offense was pretty good. We're together as a team, very, very good. Now we have to come into that team and figure out our roles and how we can help them succeed. I don't think the team's going to be anything about us. It's going to be how we can fit in with them and go from there. And honestly, I don't. Nuremberg's not their home arena, but I'm pretty sure that they've played there at least before the national event, probably. But even coming into the U.S., they came up with some pretty good strategies. And whenever they played red base, they were really hard to get out of their base. They played that base pretty well. So the communication, the team function, I think is very good with this team. And then we have to come in there and try to
learn a bit of German.
Yeah, learn some German. I will say I am the only player in this team that has actually played in the arena. So I'm going to have to, I think all of us, we're going to have to watch replays and videos from last year and go over everything because there's so many different cultures of laser tag here, so many different ways of thinking that I think we can come up with something rather than just me having input on strategy. So I think we have this tournament being longer, we have a lot of time to figure out what we need to do to perform well. And I could see us, I think realistically 7th is good for us, but I feel like we could end up doing a lot better than that.
We can push that, I reckon. We can definitely push
that.
I'll have something to say about that. Mumin and Hekki, do you guys have any thoughts on Electric Fire?
Firstly, 6 players is always dangerous when it's a new group. Also, there's Electric Fire is known to have a lot of will. There's a lot of opinions always in Electric Fire on how things should be done. Hopefully that is something that I think you can contribute, maybe streamline it a bit. But it's hard with a new group with 6 players, and 3 continents is of course always interesting. One thing that is that they are missing 2 players, and it's the 2 of their defenders. It's Linus and Lightning. And the thing with Electric Fire is their super solid defense. That's their because that's what enables that trust that Lightning and Fredstar and Linus can sort of hold the home base, and that means that Lucky Luke and Frostin can sort of push out, and Phantom as well. Now 2 defenders are missing, so is the defense going to be as strong? I feel it's going to be a very pack heavy team instead. So I don't know, and where to put Fred Star and all of that. Like, it's going to be interesting.
I definitely see a world where, like Odin kind of alluded to before, it's my thoughts is as the one player, or now the two players with Odin as well, coming onto an existing team. I'm more a fan of kind of filling the holes that have been made rather than, okay, well, we have Holmes and Odin now, we're going to completely change what you guys are doing to account for us. Because I think that will probably cause a lot of problems. I 100%, like, looking at these bases, I foresee a world where I'm like the last line for Electric Fire, and then like I'll like my base goes down, and then I've got 30 seconds or whatever to go get my bases, and then I'm just last lining the whole time. I'm happy doing that. Door defending, there's a world where I could be doing that the whole time as well, or maybe as a float. Yeah, I'm more than happy to let the Frost and Lucky Luke and Phantom kind of take the lead and go do stuff over there. I don't know how you feel about it as well, Odin, but that's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah.
If I spend the whole comp last line in, like I'm having a good time still.
I
don't
mean,
mind.
you were a menace in the blue base at SweNats, I will say. Me too. I think I've learned a lot from Skywalker. That was my mentor, my idol as I started playing. He was the one that taught me everything. So for me in my brain, that made me think I'm more of an offensive player. But as I started learning and getting better at laser tag, I feel like I'm pretty versatile and I can play wherever I'm needed to. So I also wouldn't mind playing defense with you if that's what makes the team most successful. I'll go
Sounds
wherever.
great. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I feel like both of us having that mindset of we'll just play wherever you need us to is going to help streamline our adaptation, I guess.
I think so as well.
Like, I think instead of trying to figure out day one, like, I'll play here, you play here, let's try this. If we can just figure it out fast, we'll get to the meatier parts of getting through the tournament. So yeah,
that's something with this new grid layout we are using. It's very punishing if you lose games.
Oh yeah,
there's no
just don't lose.
Like, sorry. Yeah,
just don't lose. It's easy.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I didn't know that. Okay.
No, that's cool. Hekki, have you got anything you'd like to add about Electric Fire?
So I don't actually have much intel on them. As said before, I missed Germany this year. But having said that, it is the team that I'm most interested in playing against this year. Just because I have seen what they did in Germany and US Nationals afterwards. And especially with you two joining them as well. Like, I'm super interested in seeing how they fare.
Me too.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking like our placement could be anywhere. Like, we could place. Yeah. I doubt we would get finals, but it's possible. But we could also do be a lot lower than 7th. It just could be anything.
Yeah.
And that's I'm excited to see how that'll go.
Yeah. Well, where, Mumin, would you put us?
I would initially I would put you in B between us and Omega 9.
All right. I was going to say that was my instinct as well.
That is literally where I was going to put us, yeah.
That's amazing. Hekki, where you want to put us? S.
Well, I would say it's either that or like the top of C, but I'm fine with that, so.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, don't mind. Odin and I pretty much just had a little team chat there.
Sorry.
That was good.
Sorry. we just extended the video another 20 minutes.
It is what it is. You know, obviously we're gonna have the most to say about our own team because we probably have a better insight. You know, it happens.
And now on to the big four.
On to the big four. Boom.
The teams that are always there.
Legacy. We have R, Mystery, Tiwu, Rowan, Shadowy, and Ritenji finished team with an individual player rank of A, predicted 2nd in the team comp and 1st in team elimination. Who wants to start?
Like having
Mumin, you want to go for it, bro?
Yeah, I'll go. having Shadowy this year is making the team very much stronger. He's
Yeah.
usually not playing in Sweden, and they managed to win anyway without him. So yeah, that will make the team much stronger. But anyway, the thing is with Legacy is like they are super strong, but every now and then they do these weird things. Like they like to slow down the game and then paint train. They are sort of playing. They are like Apex on steroids, you know. Sometimes.
Sure.
So when they do that, like granted they win a lot of times, but they also sometimes forget bases. They it's so chaotic. Not even they know what's happening, which is sort of the point when you do the paint train cradle seesaw thing, but. So, like they're all excellent players, excellent comms, excellent base count, excellent like everything. But sometimes they pull the trigger on tactics that just makes them lose. It has happened in a few grand finals by now. Also, they are from two different cities, so but they have played together so for so long. So I don't know how much.
So they're not an issue anymore.
Yeah. Regardless, still extremely strong team.
Hekki, what have you got to add?
So Mumin kind of covered it pretty perfectly. Like we have talked about these guys like so many times, and that kind of just is how they are. Like they are, I see them as my personal like biggest competitor in Europe right now. But as Mumin said, they also do like a lot of stupid shit, like to put it bluntly. like for an example, the recent Finnish Nationals finals, that was the worst Legacy I have seen in a couple of years at least. It was almost, I felt stupid seeing how stupid they were in those finals. Like they shouldn't be that dumb, you know?
I was reffing that finals and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, what is happening? Like, what? This isn't the team that I was seeing the whole rest of the event. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Where did they end up placing?
Yeah, they're excellent. Final? Yeah.
Were they third or second?
Pretty sure they got third.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were third.
Definitely cost them then. Crikey. Odin, what have you got to add as well?
So my experience with this team is, I'm only going off of my personal experience. Now, me normally in Europe playing on teams that can't really contest, the top 3 teams, I have a little bit of a different insight. But out of all the teams in these tournaments that I've played at, like Mega Friends and Team Destroyer and Uprising, like I found strategies or things in the games that I felt like I could actually accomplish stuff. I guess like I could do more against those teams, but when we play against Legacy, every time they just shut me down, shut our team down, and I can't do anything against them. And I don't know what it is. It's just only that team. Like if there's a tier list specifically against me, they would be at the top. Like, so they're just like really hard to deal with for me personally, and with the teams that I've played on. Whereas like I've even pulled like a second against. I think we pulled a second against either like Uprising or Team Destroyer in one of the games at SweNats, or German Nats. I don't remember, and it's like Legacy was just always shutting me down. So, they have a lot higher. They're a lot higher on my tier list because of my personal experiences with them. But just based on the results, it's like, and what happened at the SweNats finals recently, I'm like, I don't know. For me, that team is just they're insane. I don't know. Very, very solid team playing together for so long.
And where feels like who was dying, by the way? Someone taking up a lung and a half.
It happens when Legacy is mentioned.
Okay, sure. Where feels like home for Legacy on our team function tier list?
A for me, for sure.
Yeah.
This is hard. It depends on if it depends on how you want to do the S and A tier. If there's going to be multiple teams in S tier, I don't think so. Or
Only
if there
one,
are
bro.
going to be multiple teams, maybe at the bottom of S tier. But if there's just one, I don't know.
We'll do just one in S tier, I think.
Then yeah, A tier for me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Boom. Well, yeah, I've heard so much about Legacy. Obviously, I've followed like the European, like a bit of the European comps, especially more recently now that I'm doing these LSA streams and stuff. And Legacy is always, one of those teams that's there. And I'm super, super looking forward to actually getting to kind of test myself against them. So looking forward to seeing y'all in the arena and in person. Good luck. Moving on. Team Destroyer. Another German team. We have Reaper, David, Marcus, Domi, Jonas, different Jonas. Is that a different Jonas?
Yep.
Yep. And Slime. Individual player rank for the team is A, and they are predicted third across the board for the team's events. Who wants to start talking about Team Destroyer?
I'll go. Team Destroyer is if you look at the player skill compared to player function, like their function is much higher than their average player skill, I would say. Like they win tournaments, but if you compare player to player, they are not as strong as the teams they beat.
Sure.
Super disciplined, good base counts, good reactions, good comms. This is an A-grade team. The thing is, they are a little bit like, I'm gonna say something. They are not really good in dump scenarios when they have to dump. If you dump against them, that's not really easy. But if they are ever forced to dump, they got some problems.
Sure.
But they're still really good. But they do have a few like weakness. They're also very, what's it called when something is, there's one guy, like it's not as decentralized, the decision making. It feels like a lot of the players are doing what they're supposed to do. So if you find like a weakness in their game, you can exploit it, but they will repair it for the next game. So,
Sure.
But there's a little bit of stiffness to that. Not sure what to compare with, but
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Hekki and Odin.
I'll go.
Yeah.
This team actually won SweNats. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but they won SweNats, and then did they win German Nats as well?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were on a 2-tournament streak, and then they went to Finland. And the first day or two in Finland, they just fell apart. It was really bad. I don't know what happened. In the end, they ended up bringing it back. I don't remember what they placed, but I think they got pretty high, maybe 4th or 5th.
Fourth.
But 4th, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just remember that first day of like, I thought this team was like impossible to tilt to make plays poorly. You know, like I thought they were very consistent, and then that tournament made me think otherwise. Now, I don't think they've ever played in that arena before. I don't even know if they've gone to Finland for tournaments, but so this is an arena that they have already won in. They've played in multiple times, so I don't think that'll be much of an issue. But a lot of those other teams at the very top don't really have that inconsistency that I saw in Finland. So for me, I that makes me think that something could go wrong, especially with the addition of like new players like Slame coming on. How is he going to fit in? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see. And like I agree with Mumin completely. With them as a team, that works so well together, and then it's just like them individually have some good players and some players that just play their role very well, and it works together as a team. So we'll see how that turns out for them.
And have they been doing well in team elimination recently, or how have they been faring?
Very inconsistent. Like I think they made the finals in Germany, but before that they are usually like way lower than they are in team comp.
Okay, sure. Maybe a bit of trouble there.
Yeah.
Well, if we head to our team list, looking at it now, where feels like a good place for Team Destroyer to sit?
I feel like an A under Legacy.
I feel like
Personally.
I would say that
Over
or
Legacy.
top of B.
All right, so we have a top
No
of B.
way
What did
they're
you
over
say,
Legacy.
Mumin?
Hmm?
What did you say,
No, I
Mumin?
I would actually put them above Legacy, but
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, I if you put them atop of B, I put them below Legacy, and then Mumin put them above
Okay.
Legacy.
Right.
I guess we'll just go
Yeah.
in the middle.
All right. That's
In the
So
middle
A-
is the bottom of
Legacy.
A.
Bottom of A, yeah.
Well, we can
Look
circle
at
back
that,
to that
indeed.
when we do our final rankings as well, and we can argue about that one a bit
Yeah.
more.
Can I change it? Specifically for team function. I actually do think I agree more with Mumin. Especially considering the argument of like these players individually aren't as good and yet their team still wins tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the team function goes higher for me for that. Now in the final rankings, maybe I would put it there.
All
but
right. Well,
Yeah,
we
I
have
would
two
have
for
Legacy.
above, so I will do it for now, and then we'll see how it shakes out in the final one. So you can simmer down, Hekki. Chill, bro. Chill.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling, guys.
right now. He can't
All
believe
right.
what he's hearing.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, yeah, best of luck to Team Destroyer. Moving on. Uprising. So we have a finished team, I believe. December, Destro, Valiage, Napis, LRE, and Dedham. Individual player rank for the team of A, and they predicted 5th across the board. Hekki, did you want to start talking about Uprising?
Yeah, for sure. I would actually want to point out that they are always my favorite team to talk about. But
Cool.
yeah, they are an interesting bunch. Like they are all super talented, as you can see in their like player ratings. But at times they are like super disjointed, and like it feels like they don't trust each other, and their like visions of the game are so completely different from one another that it like fucks their gameplay up a lot.
Sure.
It's super like interesting to see, and it makes them entertaining to watch. You know. Like you never know. Like at their best, they can be like, in my opinion, with their best gameplay, they can be the contender for winning this tournament. But I don't think they will be consistent enough that they can provide that same best gameplay enough to actually do that.
Sure. Anything else you wanted to add, Hekki, in terms of their team function, like their comms and how they go strategy-wise and how it'll translate in Boros?
I'm not sure, because I know the roles that they are gonna be giving to each player, but I also know that most of the players who are playing those roles don't actually want to play those roles. Like the best example is the best example is December, who is the smartest of them, and he's their captain, right? But he doesn't like being a captain, and you could see that it's taking a toll on his gameplay. Like he averages like 60% tag ratio, which is awful for like a finalist player, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no ways around it. And even especially at SweNats, when to be fair, they had a couple of filler players, but like you could see that he was just completely lost throughout the tournament, especially in the bigger games. And I kind of see that happening again, because I know that there's some like disjointed. That's the word to describe them. They aren't a very well functioning five most of the time.
Cool. Mumin, Odin, anything to add?
You can go first.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Like to me, these are like young up and coming players, but they're not anymore. Most of these players I've played against since they were like really young. They are. I think these are like a lot of like natural, talented, really strong players. Individually, they're all really like hard to deal with. I think this is the only team that in the top tier that you can sort of trick a little bit by tactics, like sort of outsmart. But also they're really good at farming. But they do move into forest when they don't have to. They do a lot of like weird things, and they have a lot of players that likes to do the superhero moves. At least 4 of the 6.
Yeah.
Superhero players. So that opens up for a lot of problems. Like you can have like maybe one of those like superhero players, but it's hard when a lot of them are. So
everyone's doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, but they do have like the good positioning. Tactics wise, I'm not sure how many different tactics they run. And there's been a lot of instances where there's been like series of game win in the 3rd game. They have the chance to actually win it. Like I think they even had the chance to win SweNats at one point when Legacy and GP were sort of battling it out, and everyone forgot about them. But they didn't like the. No, I'll say this: their skill, like individual player skill, is like ridiculously high, but their team function is a bit lower. It's a bit off.
And Odin, do you have anything to add?
I would agree with exactly what Mumin just said. Of individually, these players are some of the most impressive players I've seen all throughout Europe. Like Valo in particular, he always impresses me, and he gets better every single tournament I see him play. Napis, the first time I saw him play was at SweNats, and he, specifically I remember in red base, he was just solo holding the base against like 5 people by himself, and it was just so crazy to me. Extremely talented players. I do remember them coming out of one of the games in SweNats, and they were all just yelling at each other and trying to figure out what went wrong. And I feel like that the other top teams don't really have that hostility towards each other. I feel like it's just not trusting each other or blaming others when things happen poorly. Their individual skill makes up for a lot of that, but in the end, for the team function, I feel like that's going to drop them for me.
And with that said, where do we feel like is a good spot for Uprising on our team function tier list?
It is B, but I'm not sure is it over or under Majestic 5. It's one of those, I would say.
Yeah.
But
I would put them. For me, I was going to say the top of B, but
yeah. Top of B.
Yeah.
Top of B.
Yeah.
Done. Oh my god! There we go. Boom. Alrighty. Well, is there anything else about Uprising, or shall we move on to our last team?
Let's go Mega Friends.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Debuting their logo finally. Here we go. No longer just the Friends bloody TV show logo. It is. They have it. There he is. Cool. On the team, we have Hekki, Hacker, Keps, Elku, and Minerva. Individual player rank for the team is S. And then the community predictions had them in 1st for comp and 2nd for elimination. Who wants to start off talking about Mega Friends?
You gentlemen want to start? Yeah, go for it.
I'll go. So
I'm here and I can hear you, but I'm just running that way to do something, but I can hear you.
All right.
So I would say if we look at these different factors, I would say like Hekki's got a great sense of base count. And when it comes to comms, I think it's the strongest team. When it comes to tactics, changing things in the middle of the game, usually not a problem. And have a different, like a very versatile team. Like Keps can lead attack, Hacker can lead attack, Hekki can lead attack, and Keps is also strong at defense, and like the very versatile team. I would say only issue is like you sometimes shoehorn things in that you want, like which has punished you. But I didn't see you at Finnish Nationals. I wish I was there because you won that one, and you know you are getting better for every year. So I will base this off on last SweNats because you weren't in Germany, right? You were not there.
Yeah, I was not in Germany. Yeah.
So I will base this out of SweNats last year, which is a little bit outdated. Where we saw you trying to play a certain game, even if it didn't fit the actual game. You played your game, which is always like you should always try to play your game, but at some point you have to adapt to the 2 teams you are playing against. So a little bit of hybris there, but all around a really strong team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think last year Sweden kind of, like, it was our first time with these 5, right? And the fact that it went how it went, it made us like so much stronger for SweNats. And even the fact that I skipped Germany, like, it gave me more time to like focus on like one tournament, you know, and like properly focus and get my motivation up and stuff like that. I think it felt like at SweNats, it was the gameplay that we knew that this team can like provide, and it felt really good.
How much did you win the final by?
I think 13K or something.
30. Oh, exciting. Yep.
Yeah. 13,
Yeah.
not 30. 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, this is not me just like tapping my back, but it felt like from the start of the tournament that we are very clearly the best team there, like, and it never went away, you know, like, and I know for a fact that if you ask Legacy or Think That guys, Uprising guys, or Destroyer guys, they will probably say the same thing, most of them at least.
For me, I was reffing the finals in SweNats, and I could just tell immediately that both the other teams, it was Legacy and Uprising in finals, correct?
Yeah.
Both of them were always playing catch up to you guys. Like, I've never seen Mega Friends stressed in that finals. They always felt comfortable and in the lead, whereas the other two teams were scrambling to try to get that lead. And I noticed that pretty early on after game 1, they knew that something needed to happen for them, and whereas you guys were just calm the whole time. You're the defense that you guys have is absolutely insane, and for you guys to have a player like Hacker, who you can have 4 people playing defense at your base, and he can just go get both bases by himself. Like, having a player that is good enough to do that while your team is also having some of the best defensive players, and honestly, like, the entire world, is crazy. The versatility of all your players as well helps you do so many different strats, and having you just creating these strats and facilitating the team is good. Your team is so strong.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
Any other thoughts about Mega Friends, about team function, strategy, what we expect them to do, and especially in Boros?
So yeah, you did mention. I remember every prediction panel I watch. He's like, yeah, that was our first tournament, so it's gonna go up from here. You know, we're still getting into it. And I think we saw what your team is capable of at SweNats, and if that continues, it's going to be extremely difficult to beat you guys. Because I was thinking of the little bit of inconsistency you guys had at SweNats, and I didn't really see that at all in Finland. So definitely between then and now, it was a lot of improvement.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, we built upon the mistakes we made at Sweden, and that showed it at the next tournament, basically. And I think it should only get better from here.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll head over to our team function. I feel like there's a pretty empty spot over yonder. Do we all feel like that's like the best place for this team?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
would have it on top of A, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If there is an S team, it's that team. I'm not sure there is an
S
team in this tournament, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, just for the sake of having an S, we'll put them in there, huh? All right. Well, stream has been going for 2 hours, 23 minutes. Now we have our last final bit where we're going to go to our final tier list, and we're going to actually make sure we have all the teams exactly where we want them. And then we'll have our, that'll give us our final rankings. So I'm just going to paste this over here, and then we can just shuffle stuff as we go. All right. Bon, oh, this one is slightly different size to the other one. That's annoying. Actually, it looks fine. All right. Shall we start from F? Work our way up.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to delete these guys. And then, yeah, we'll just see if there's anything that feels like it really needs shuffling or it feels out of place. So, looking at that F tier, we have Suicide Squad. What's this team? Laser Power and Blazing Bullets. Does that order feel correct to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's how it would be. Laser Power might overtake Suicide Squad. It's a little bit like, I'm not sure about those two, but
it's hard to
going
say.
into it, it feels right.
Yeah, I'd say that feels right to me.
Cool, Benz. So, if that's the case, I won't say the final rankings until we've done the rest of this because we might have a team that drops down or something. Looking in the E tier and maybe even the D tier, is there any shuffling that needs to happen there? Do we feel?
Yeah.
Because currently we have Tigers will go
before. Yeah, Tigers still in E, but move past Laser Dogs.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Yeah. So we'll swap these teams, Tigers and Laser Dog. Is there any teams? Obviously, D is pretty populated. Is there any teams that we feel could jump up to C or drop down to E, or do we think that is the best place for them?
Yeah, I still think that Sixth Sense should be in C and not in D.
I do agree with that, but I do think Eparia is above.
Yeah.
Above all those teams in that tier. So I don't know. It's hard for me.
Yeah, if Eparia is so clearly
exactly
above,
where they should be. Yeah.
So maybe put Sixth Sense in C, but like put a big space. I don't know.
No, I think if we feel like the difference is very like considerable between Eparia and the rest of these teams, I am happy to leave these teams in that D rank. Because obviously, yeah.
I personally feel that way, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do we feel the order of this is correct with Sixth Sense at the top, then Sunday Kebab, followed by Empire, Trash Pandas, and then Hyper Mode?
I think personally I'd probably swap Empire with Sunday Kebab.
Yeah.
But
I do not support that. I do not.
No.
I play with the Empire players every week, most of them. I cannot with good conscience say that they have a chance against Sunday Kebab, or much of a chance.
What about Trash Pandas then? Yeah, I mean, you don't know those players, I guess, very well.
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah.
So Hekki is on a hard no. That is staying how it is. Are you guys happy to concede that, or are we going to argue for a bit about this one?
I think Empire will fare better in a scenario where the game like opens up. Like if it goes to a 10 base, then Empire will win 9 times out of 10. If it stays like a very slow game, then I think that Sunday Kebab will win.
So I don't know, because Empire has like, out of the 5 players, 3 of them are like very, very like shy on cracking bases and actually making the moves. So I actually disagree with you there.
But
they are kind of similar to Sunday Kebab in that sense, in my opinion, that they are both like prefer the slow gameplay, and I think the Stockholm guys have a better chance of succeeding in that.
Okay. That's
so
fine.
We'll leave the D tier as it is.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, cool. So we have, as you've said before, Eparia is pretty lonely in C tier. Is there any B tier teams that we feel could be bumped down to C tier, or do we feel like that, like at least within the tiers, that it looks about right?
Yeah, I don't see Eparia beating any of those teams.
Yeah,
it could happen like on the odd game, but no.
Yeah, not consistently. Yeah,
quite a big gap between C and B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. In terms of the order of the teams within B, do we feel we're pretty happy with that order? So we have Uprising at the top, followed by Majestic 5, then Electric Fire, and then Omega 9.
I could see Omega 9 over Electric Fire. Sorry, boys, but they have just so much experience and they know the arena inside out.
That would be
But,
potentially the only thing I could see changing.
Yeah.
But I still have hope for us.
I would say, yeah. If you look at the thing is because you have like a different lineup on Electric Fire. But if it was like original, like Electric Fire, I would put Omega 9 above them for sure.
Yeah.
I guess you're the deciding factor, above or below, Mumin.
No, keep it like that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Keep it.
All right.
Let's go.
For me personally, though, Uprising should go into A tier, in my opinion.
Any other uprisings to A tier, or do we feel Destroyer, Legacy, and Mega Friends are just head and shoulders above?
So I think the gap between Legacy and Uprising is so clear in regards to like team gameplay. Legacy should always be a tier above them.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be on the same tier as us, then, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I stand.
But
Okay,
based on results, I think Uprising has beaten Legacy in Germany and in SweNats.
But to be fair, is it beating them, or is Legacy pushing for the win more so they can get punished for it in a 3-game series?
That's true.
Because I can tell you a little tidbit from the Finnish Nationals finals that we never kind of took Uprising that seriously because of how disjointed they were, and we knew that Legacy is our actual only competition in the finals, so we kind of fucked them over for the 3rd spot. So that kind of happens a lot in these European finals, at least, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they did that to us in Germany. Actually.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
They came up after the game and like, sorry, we knew the other team couldn't beat us, so we made sure you guys got 3rd. I'm like, all right, that's how it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, after hearing that, I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly often, the second best team is 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is very often.
That's true. Like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, if we're happy with the B tier, Hekki, you have your chance now to plead your case about whether Legacy is above Team Destroyer or not. Please take it away.
So in my opinion, Legacy is like better at reading the game and making those moves. Now, granted, as we talked before, like some of those moves aren't maybe smart necessarily, but I don't think TD is very good at like actually, like this sounds so rude, but not actually reading the game, you know. I think Legacy has a better like standing on that they actually know what needs or when they need to do something, if you get what I mean, right? Like Destroyer has their like routine that they always play everywhere. And like Odin said, that they weren't much of a threat in Finnish Nationals because that routine didn't take them far and they never like got away from it. But Legacy knows when they need to change up their usual gameplay and they are willing to do that. And that's why I give them the edge over Destroyer in this kind of a tier list.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree. Me personally, I have Legacy above them as well.
Especially if we are talking like the final rank and we need to weigh in what we actually think they will play.
Yeah.
Then Legacy is a higher rank than Destroyer.
Yeah.
If it's just the team function and not like where I think they will rank. Oh yeah, in that sense, yes, I do. Then Electric Fire should be below Omega 9 as well. If it's placement, then Omega 9 should actually be in front of us as well. If it's just the placement.
I don't think so, but that's a topic for another moment, I guess.
Well, we can circle back to it now. So if we're taking everything to account, like the individual players, the team function, and where we actually envision them placing, do you guys in agreement that you think Omega 9 can have a good chance of being above Majestic 5, or are we happy with how it is?
So it is interesting because it is a very close matchup on paper, but I give the edge to Majestic 5 because I trust Mumin and Bambi and Jae-Hong to have a better sense of the game. Like Omega 9 is more prone to making like dumbass decisions and not knowing what is happening inside the arena.
Sure.
Before SweNats, I would have put Omega 9 above, but I remember their team in SweNats was just all over the place. It was so chaotic.
It was a mess. Yeah.
It was a mess, and for that reason, I put them a little bit lower this time around.
Yeah, and did you guys agree with Mumin about Omega 9 being above Electric Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't have a say in this.
There you go. Odin.
The two of the players in Omega 9 work at the side and has been playing since like the 2000s. I mean, they know like that they literally built the arena. So
yeah.
It's like, playing Mopar in his own arena. So that if you don't know the arena, he's gonna have an edge on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Odin, you and I and the Germans are just gonna have something to say about that, aren't we?
True. We're gonna show him. We're gonna show him.
We'll show him.
We'll show him either how bad we are or how good we are.
It'll be good. Positive manifestations, Odin. Positive manifestations. It's gonna be great. Alrighty. Cool. Well, if that's the case, that is our final thing. So, going from 18th up, we have Blazing Bullets in 18th, Laser Power in 17th, Suicide Squad 16th, Laser Dog 15th, Taggers in 14th, Hyper Mode in 13th, Trash Pandas 12th, Empire 11th, Sunday Kebab 10th, Sixth Sense 9. This is really hard to do. This is harder than I thought it would be. Sixth Sense 9th, Epadia 8th, Electric Fire 7th, Omega 9 6th, Majestic 5 5th, fitting, Uprising in 4th, Team Destroyer 3rd, Legacy 2nd, and Mega Friends taking that number 1 spot. This is our LSA final rank, final predictions for SweNats 2024. Gentlemen, have any of you got anything you would like to add? Any last parting messages or thoughts, or I don't know, prayers? What do you want to say, or should we just wrap the show up?
One quick thing, I love everyone I've met in Europe. I love coming to Europe. You guys always host the most amazing tournaments. You have the best atmosphere, all the nicest people. I can't wait to go, and I'm happy that you get to experience it and we get to play on the same team. I'm excited.
It's going to be dope. I'm super looking forward to it. Hear so much about the European scene, especially like SweNats, and Mumin didn't stop. I don't think there was a day at US Nationals where he didn't tell me that SweNats is the best run tournament, obviously, because I run. It's great.
What a humble man.
I'm looking forward to experiencing this tournament I keep hearing so much about, and meeting all these people that I've seen on paper for the last couple of years since we've started doing these LSA predictions and reviews, but I've never met. I am super stoked, and thank you for all the people that have helped make it possible as well. You know who you are. Mumin, Hekki, you got anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Good luck in
Yeah, that as well.
Worlds.
True. Yeah, so that was actually something I was going to bring up when we got to myself and Mega Friends, is that I don't think there's any other players, but
Renegade
is going as well.
Yeah, he's playing on the home site team, one of the home site teams.
That's cool. So Renegade on Trash Pandas, myself on Electric Fire, and then Hacker, Elku, Minerva, and is Keps going to Worlds as well?
No.
There's a couple other players, but Minerva, Elku, and Hacker all going to be competing at the World Championships in New Zealand, like less than 2 weeks beforehand. So we went to Worlds just as like a training practice comp to get ready for like the real thing, the big deal, the Swedish Championship.
Hell yeah, man.
No, it's going to be super interesting to see how all of those players go, because I just have a feeling, I don't know about you guys, but like anytime I've gone to a tournament and then I've gone back to like training or playing like my local leagues or whatever, I always feel like I'm so like wired. Like I'm so like in tune with laser tag, and I just feel like I know everything that's happening, and I feel like I'm unstoppable. I'm curious to see how playing Worlds, which is going to be a very high tier tournament, obviously, how that's going to factor into like all of the players that are going there, their performances. It's going to be cool, especially coming from H2 to Boros is on Helios Pro, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pro.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting little tidbit as well. But yeah, no, my current plan is I leave for Worlds on the 20th of November, play Worlds, spend an actual couple days with Four Eyes is hosting me in New Zealand. Thank you, sir. Go see some Lord of the Rings stuff. And then I'm flying to Germany for a week to spend there, get some training in with Electric Fire, and then go on to Swedish Nationals. So I'm gone for like 29 days in total. It's going to be quite the adventure, but I am super, super, super stoked. And again, I wouldn't have been able to do it without a lot of help and support from people. So thank you to all of those people. You know who you are. I'm going to wrap up the show now because I'm rambling again. But thank you, Odin. Thank you, Mumin. Thank you, Hekki, so much for your time and for providing us with your insight and stuff. It's been a blast. And I can't wait to see all of you guys in the flesh and to meet you for the first time in the flesh, Hekki.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be a wicked time. So December 11th to December 15th, Swedish Nationals. It'll be streamed on Twitch. We'll share all the info and stuff on the Laser Sports Academy socials and stuff. See you then. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye.
Peace out now.